The first chapter in your income tax has two parts. The first part is about your income from business, and the second part speaks about your income from profession. So, there are three professions that you're expected to learn in the semester. The three professions are computing the income of a lawyer, chartered accountant, and a doctor. So, first we'll look at the way of computing the taxable income of a lawyer. Now, this is a format, as you can see, the format which is on the screen. This is the format which you will be using. So, unlike the previous kinds of problem, what we used to solve where expenses are allowed and disallowed, here you don't have to do anything. You just have to pick the professional receipt. You just have to pick the professional expenses. What you get is income from profession. So all you have to do is just use a bit of your common sense. You will be finding out whether a particular receipt or an expense is related to that profession or not. If it is genuinely related to the profession of a lawyer, then such expense will be deducted and those such receipt will be added. Generally, when it comes to lawyer, for him the receipts will be practicing fees, legal fees, special commission. Sometimes his clients will also give him presents. Sometimes there is examiner fee and he would be writing articles in professional journals, and what remuneration he gets from writing those journal will be considered as his professional receipt. So the six receipts, what you can see, are all related to a lawyer. So for a lawyer, these are his income. It is legal fee, the arbitration fees, the consulting fees, the special commission fees, present from clients. These are all the income that he is getting from his profession. From these income, you will have to deduct the professional expenses. Now, those things which are genuinely related to the profession, those expenses will have to be deducted. Now, a lawyer will have an office. So whatever office expenses he's incurring, if he's hiring any staff, whatever salary he's paying to those staff, the next one is depreciation on professional books. Let's say that this lawyer has purchased the books. Books for a lawyer is considered as an asset. You go to any lawyer's office, the first thing that you can notice is you can find lots of law related books in his office. So one of the major asset for any lawyer or advocate are the books. You can also find them referring to different kinds of law books. So those are the professional books. So books are the asset for lawyer. The same is for the chartered accountant as well. You ask them what their assets are, they would end up saying professional books are their asset. So these are, since they are asset, the price of the books are not recorded over here. Rather, it's considered as an asset. The purchasing of book is considered as a capital expenditure for a lawyer. So you calculate depreciation. In accounting treatment, there is no depreciation treated on books. I have not come across or base. Till now, you would have studied so many accounting subjects, but nowhere we have calculated depreciation on books. But in Income Tax Act, books are also considered as an asset, and you will also be calculating depreciation on the books. So let's say that in your question, professional books purchased by a lawyer is worth 1 lakh is given. Although it is an expense, it is a capital expenditure. So whatever is purchased, you do not consider that 1 lakh. If you have professional books purchased, only thing that you're supposed to do is calculate depreciation on the value of the books. So on 1 lakh, you calculate depreciation. That is the professional expense. So be very careful with books because books are considered as an asset for a lawyer. Whatever books are considered by a lawyer, those are capital expenditure. So since it is a capital expenditure, you would not be recording it here when you're calculating the taxable income. The only calculation that you're supposed to do on professional books is the calculation of depreciation. Next one, if there are any office equipments which are purchased, you can calculate depreciation on the same. Any expenditure which are genuinely related to the profession of the lawyer. Subscription. So if the lawyer is subscribing to any magazines or journals for the purpose of keeping himself updated about his field, so subscription to books, subscription to journals or magazines, you will write here. So there is a difference. Professional books are different. Subscription to magazines and journals are different. So if you purchase any professional books, that is a capital expenditure and you don't record it. But subscription to any magazines or journals, those are the expenses which you recorded. On those books, you don't charge, or on those magazines or journals, there is no depreciation which is applicable. Next one, if there are any purchase of stamp paper, court fees, if there are any traveling expenses which are genuinely related to his profession, in that case, he can also claim depreciation. He can also claim them as his professional expense. This is a format which you will have to follow. Now we'll have a look at the question and try solving it. This was asked in May 2018 BCom question paper. So here, you will be given receipt and payment. Only thing you will have to do is you have to pick items from your receipt and payment, only those items which are related to the profession of a lawyer. The first one is legal fee of 3 years are given to you. So we would be considering the legal fees of all 3 years, because the legal fee is one of the major receipt for a lawyer. So legal fee is a receipt, so we'll be recording the same. So this is the format you're supposed to follow. Particulars, amount to amount columns is always desirable. So first you write the heading as professional receipts. Professional receipts. The first professional receipt that you have got are the legal expenses. So under legal fee. So under legal fee, you have the legal fees of 3 years, which is 2019 and 20. And the amount is 1,05,000. And next 18 and 19. 18 and 19. That is 20,000. And third one is 2020 and 21. The amount is 6,000. So you would be adding all of these, and the total of these can be written in outer column. So 1,05,000 plus 20,000 plus 6,000 will be equal to 1,31,000. The next item that we have in our question on the receipt side, first we'll be covering all of our receipt and then go to payment. The second one that we have is it's fee from consultancy work. So again, if you look at the format, again, although consultancy work is not mentioned here, but whatever fee you receive from consultancy work is also a receipt for a lawyer. There are so many people who come for consultancy service from the lawyer. They want to consult a lawyer, get the advice, legal advice from a lawyer or advocate, for which the lawyer or advocate will charge a fee. So even consultancy fee is also a part of his profession itself. It's a major receipt of his profession. So the next receipt that we have here is the consultancy fee from consultancy work. Fee from consultancy work. And the amount that you would be writing over here is 18,000 as given to us in the question. The third receipt that we have over here is special commission fee. If you look at the format, special commission fee is clearly mentioned. It is a professional receipt. So you can write to special commission fee 1,500. So special commission fees 1,500. The next item that we have in our question is, okay, to salary, the fourth item, as you can see, to salary as a part-time lecturer in law college. Now, whatever salary he receives as a part-time lecturer is not taxable under this head. It's salary. They've clearly mentioned that it is salary, whether it's part-time or full-time, it will be taxable under the head salary and not under this head. So salary as a part-time lecturer, when you're calculating his total income, this definitely will come into picture. But we are only asked to calculate what is his income from profession. So his profession is being a lawyer or an advocate, as mentioned in the question. So salary received will not be a part of his professional income. Examiner's fee from Law University, again going back to the format, if you look at it, point number 5, examiner's fee is given. So we will be including examiner's fee. So examiner's fee, and the amount is examiner's fee, and the amount given to us is 600 rupees. So we write 600 over here. And the next thing that we have that is given to us in the question is, so sale proceeds of furniture used in profession. Again, not a business income, sorry, not a professional income, because this is not something that he has got from his profession. Okay, it is not related to his profession. It's not something recurring also. He is not going to sell his furniture every now and then, and he's not going to get any income. So it's a non-recurring receipt. So happens once in the lifetime, or very rarely these kind of transactions happen. It is nowhere related to his profession. Although he has sold the furniture which is in his office, but still that is not a receipt, or it is not something which is going to happen every now and then. So sale procedure of furniture used in profession is not included. Director fee from a company is again not included. You will have to know what are the professional receipt properly, because director fee from a company, he will be called as an independent director or just to be a director of a company, for which he will receive fee or remuneration. It is taxable not under this head. Dividend from Indian company is also not taxable. It will be taxable under the head income from other sources. Next one, to remuneration from an article published in law journals. So that definitely is related to his profession itself, because he is publishing it in a law journal. It is related to his profession and he is getting remuneration of the same. So we'll record it, remuneration from an article published. So the amount that we have is 400. The next item that we have is maturity amount from LIC. Again, will not be included here. Last one is gift from clients. If you look at the format, gift from client, presents or gift from client is also a professional receipt, which you will have to record it over here. So gift from clients, gifts from clients, and the total gift is 5,000 rupees. Add all of the professional receipt and total, you write it here. So approximately the total will be 1,56,500. Next, what you're supposed to do is less all of his expenses which are related to his profession. So professional expenses. So here you have to look if the expenses are genuinely related to his profession or not. The first one that we have is car expense. Maybe he is using the car for his professional purpose to go from one place to another, which is genuinely connected to his profession. But let's look at the additional information. Who knows, there might be some extra information. If you look at point number B over here, 30% of the car expense are respect of office use. So which means that totally only 30% he's using it for his profession purpose. By default, the remaining 70%, he is just using it for personal use. Whatever you use for personal use, those expense you cannot show them over here. Any expenses which are personal in nature, you cannot show them as expense, or it will not come under income from profession. Only those expense related to the profession you will have to record. So since they have clearly mentioned that only 30% he is using it for profession, even our expense from out of 1,500, which is related to the expenses of the car, only 30% can be deducted, because remaining 70% expense is related to his personal life, not his professional life. So only the item which is related to his professional life, that we will have to show it over here. So less his expenses, car expenses, the complete expense is 1,500, but only 30% of 1,500 needs to be taken, because only 30% is used for professional purpose. So that would be equal to 450 rupees. So anything which is personal in nature, you cannot show them over here. The next item that we have is office expense. Again, if you can look at the note, if you have any extra information related to office expense, nothing is given, but office expense is generally related to his business. So you can make a note of the same. Office expense. So you would be writing office expense. Office expense, the amount that you have is 20,000 rupees. The next one that you have over here is, after office expense, the next item that we have is salary to attender. After that, you have subscription to law journal. Both are very, very genuinely business expense, sorry, profession expense. He has an attender, whatever attender he's paying the salary, it is related to his profession itself. And subscription to law journal, probably there is a law journal which he wants to read it every now and then to update his knowledge about the field. The lawyers, the chartered accountants, the doctors will have their own professional journals and magazines. Everything related to their profession will be written, articles or information will be provided there. So these are journals or magazines which are published every now and then. So you subscribe to those law journals. It is related to the profession. So those expense can be deducted. So the first thing that we have over here is salary to attender. Salary to attender. And the amount is 9,000. The next thing that we have is subscription to law journal. And that is 500 rupees. The next thing that we have here is purchase of purchase of law book. Like I had mentioned earlier, law books or professional books are completely an asset for a lawyer or an advocate. So you don't write 12,000. Since it is an asset, it's a capital expenditure for a lawyer. When you see this, rather than writing the amount 12,000, you only charge depreciation on law books. You don't write the purchase price of the law books, but with respect to law book, there is only one calculation. That law calculation is you charge depreciation on law books. So kindly remember, when it comes to law books, it is a capital expenditure. It is an asset for a lawyer. So you don't write the purchase price of the law books, but the only expense related to these assets are depreciation, which you will be charging. So here, the next thing that you're supposed to write is depreciation on law books. So depreciation Depreciation on law books. So depreciation on law books, the value of books are 12,000 rupees. Books, the rate of depreciation is always 40%. Learn the rate of depreciation. Don't expect you to have given, don't expect them to be given always in the examination. So that would be 4,800. The next item that we have over here in our question is by donation to approved college. So donation or charity work that you make, that is not related to the profession. So that is just, you are a nice human being and he might be donating it to the college or for charity purpose. That has nothing to do with his profession. So donation to an approved college or whatever charity purpose he's doing will not come as professional expense. Rent of chamber, every lawyer has to have he usually has his own chamber for which he's supposed to pay rent. So all the rent of 3 years, we'll be calculating it, writing it over here. Rent of chamber. So we have 3 years, 2020 and 21, and the amount is 2000. The next one is 2019 and 20, and the amount is 24,000. And 2018 and 19, and the amount is 3,000 rupees. So you can add all of these together, 24,000, 26, and total will be 29,000. And you write it over here. The next item that we have in our question is, okay, electric lighting. So here they have given rent and electric lighting where in respect of building used for profession. If it was used for personal purpose, you don't consider them. If let's say only 50% was used for profession and 50 for personal, only 50% which is used for profession, you can show it as expense and deduct it. Whatever you use it for your personal purpose, that percentage cannot be claimed as professional expenses. So they've clearly mentioned rent and lighting are related to your profession purpose. So we haven't written lighting. So we'll just write electric lighting over here. Electric lighting. So electric lighting that we have here is 2,500 rupees. 2,500 rupees. The next thing that we have, okay, LIC premium. He has paid LIC on his own life or probably the lives of his family members. So that is again purely personal expense and we cannot show it as professional expense. The next one is car purchased. Car again is a capital, it's a capital expenditure. So car is a capital expenditure. Purchasing of professional books is also capital expenditure. Wherever there is capital expenditure, you don't write the purchase price of those assets. You only charge depreciation. It can be building, it can be office, it can be books, it can be patents, or it can be car purchased, it can be furniture purchased, or any capital expenditure. You don't write the purchase price. The only expense related to these items are depreciation. So car purchase, the amount is 74,000, but you don't write the 74,000 expense. The only expense related to the car which will be showing is depreciation. So let's write it as depreciation over here. Depreciation on car. Depreciation on car. The amount is 74,000. Now, like I said, the rule of depreciation is simple. Whatever is a rate of depreciation which is applicable, the entire rate can be taken or that entire rate can be used for calculation only if you have used that asset for more than 180 days. If the asset is used for less than 180 days, you divide that percentage into half and then calculate. So we look at the information to see if there is anything related to car. If you can see it, car was purchased on 24/10/2019. I mean, this was a previous assessment year, so 2019, and rate of depreciation is 15%. So in this case, if you look at it, from 2019 October till 2020 March, you count the number of months. It's going to be, you count the days. It's definitely going to be less than 180 days because November, December, Jan, Feb, March. So it is going to be less than 180 days. Since it's less than 180 days, you cannot claim the entire 15% as depreciation. Only half of 15%, that is 7.5%, can be claimed as depreciation. So according to IT Act, the way you calculate depreciation is pretty simple. If you have used that asset for more than 180 days, the entire percentage can be claimed as depreciation. But if you're using it for less than 180 days, in that case, only half of that rate can be claimed as depreciation. So here, in this case, since you have used it for less than 180 days, it's going to be 15% into half. The calculation does not end here. Only 30% of the car, you're using it for professional purpose. So depreciation on car, only 30% is related to your profession. So before you write the amount, you write it as 30% over here because only 30% of depreciation is related. Since you're using only 30% of the car for profession, even the depreciation on that should also be only 30%. To what extent you're using it for profession purpose, your expense should also be up to that extent itself. So you can't claim 100% as depreciation, 100% of the amount as depreciation, while you're using only 30% for your professional purpose. So 74,000 is the price of the car into half of the rate of depreciation because it was used for less than 180 days into 30% because you've only used 30% for profession purpose. So that would be 1,665 rupees. And finally, what we have in our question is income appeal expenses. Income appeal expense, it's a genuine expense related to the profession, income appeal expense. So you can take it, income appeal expense, income appeal expenses, and the amount is 1,300. And we have one more item. By purchase of land for office. Now, firstly, remember, purchasing a land for an office is definitely a capital expenditure. And what did I tell you? Every time when there is capital expenditure, you don't write the purchase amount, but you charge depreciation. But land is one asset on which there is no depreciation. Land is the only asset where there is appreciation. So that is why we are not calculating depreciation on land. In fact, if you look at the rate of depreciation, all the asset will be considered or covered except for land. Because it's in general sense, when you look at land, the value of land never depreciates. So there is always either the worst case scenario is the value remains the same, but it does not go lesser than the value. So it's always appreciation on land. So that is why we are not calculating any depreciation over here, because any land that you have purchased for office purpose is definitely a capital expenditure, but on land there is no depreciation. So we are not calculating depreciation on this. So all of our receipt and our expense have been sorted according to Income Tax Act. We have only taken professional receipt. We have only taken professional expense. So from the total of your expense, professional expense will be equal to 69,215. 215. And from 1,56,500, you minus your expense. What you get becomes your income from profession. Income from profession. So you get the amount. In the same way, you compute it for a chartered accountant. You also compute it for the one who's a medical practitioner. So you just have to know what are the receipts for a doctor, what are the expenses of a doctor, and same with chartered accountant. And the remaining type of calculation are the same. When it comes to capital expenditure, you like say for example, you've purchased books, you've purchased office equipments, you've purchased surgical equipments applicable in case of a doctor, you've purchased a building, you've purchased a furniture or machinery or whatever. If there is you've purchased a computer, car, in that case you don't write the purchase price of these assets, but you calculate depreciation, and depreciation is a expense related to these assets. So similar fashion, we'll calculate it for doctors and for chartered accountants. So learn the format properly where you know which are the receipt and which are the expenses. The way of computing remains the same. So in case if you have any doubts, kindly get back to me and I will be stopping this for now. Thank you.